Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Cinderella who lived with her cruel stepmother and two stepsisters. Her father had passed away when she was young, leaving her with no one to turn to but her stepfamily, who treated her as nothing more than a servant. Every day, Cinderella would rise before the sun to do all the household chores, while her stepsisters slept in and lounged around. No matter how hard she worked, Cinderella was never thanked or praised. Instead, she was constantly belittled and abused. One day, as Cinderella was sweeping the floor, her stepsisters approached her and taunted.
"Oh look, it's our little servant, Cinderella. When are you going to learn to do your chores properly?"
Cinderella replied with a sigh.
"I do my best, but it never seems to be good enough for you two."
One day, the king of the kingdom announced that he was hosting a grand ball at the palace for all eligible maidens to attend, in hopes of finding a bride for his son, the prince. Cinderella's stepsisters were ecstatic and spent hours picking out the perfect gowns and getting ready for the ball. Cinderella, on the other hand, was heartbroken. She wanted to attend the ball more than anything, but she knew her stepsisters would never let her go. Cinderella sat in her room, tears streaming down her face. She longed to attend the ball, to dance, and feel beautiful for just one night. But she knew her cruel stepsisters would never let her go. Just then, her fairy godmother appeared before her with a warm smile.
"Dear Cinderella, I have been watching over you and I know your heart's desire. I am here to grant you the wish to attend the ball."
Cinderella's eyes lit up with hope and joy.
"Oh, fairy godmother, is it really true? Can I really go to the ball?"
The fairy godmother chuckled.
"Yes, my dear, but you must hurry, as time is of the essence."
With a wave of her wand, Cinderella's ragged dress transformed into a stunning gown of silvery moonlight, and a pumpkin into a magnificent carriage. Cinderella couldn't believe her eyes.
"How can I ever thank you, fairy godmother?"
The fairy godmother smiled.
"Just remember, the spell will only last until midnight. At that time, you must return home or everything will turn back to the way it was."
Cinderella nodded.
"I understand. Thank you, fairy godmother. I will cherish this night forever."
At the ball, Cinderella danced the night away with the prince, who was struck by her beauty and kindness. The prince asked Cinderella.
"May I have the honor of this dance?"
Cinderella replied with a smile.
"Of course, your highness."
However, the clock struck midnight, and Cinderella had to run back home before the spell was broken. In her haste, she left behind a glass slipper, which the prince used to search for his mysterious dance partner. The next day, the prince visited Cinderella's home, eager to find the owner of the glass slipper. He tried it on the stepsisters, but it was too small for their feet. The stepsisters tried to force their feet into the slipper, but to no avail. The prince turned to Cinderella and asked,
"May I try the slipper on you, miss?"
Cinderella nodded, her heart racing with excitement and nervousness. The prince gently placed the glass slipper on her foot, and it fit her perfectly. The prince's eyes widened with delight.
"You are the one, my love. You are the owner of the glass slipper."
The stepsisters gasped, shocked that Cinderella was the prince's true love. The prince got down on one knee and took Cinderella's hand.
"My dearest Cinderella, will you marry me and become my princess?"
Cinderella's face lit up with happiness.
"Yes, my prince, I will marry you."
The prince stood up and swept Cinderella into his arms, kissing her with all the love and passion in his heart. The stepsisters were green with envy, but they knew that their deceitful ways had finally caught up with them. They stepped back and allowed the prince and Cinderella to bask in their happiness. As the prince and Cinderella left the house hand in hand, the prince turned to her and said,
My love, I promise to love and cherish you for the rest of my days. Together, we will create a kingdom filled with love and joy.
Cinderella smiled.
I know, my prince. I am so grateful to have found you, and I will love and cherish you until the end of time.
Cinderella and the prince were married in a grand ceremony and lived happily ever after. Cinderella's stepsisters, who had treated her so badly, were filled with regret for their actions and asked for her forgiveness, which she happily granted. Cinderella forgave them and said,
Of course, we can all start fresh and live happily together.
and so, Cinderella went from being a servant in her own home to becoming a princess, living a life filled with love and happiness.
If you liked this fairy tale, give us a like on this video. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell to make sure you don't miss a new fairy tale tomorrow.